All right. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me see if can I turn this? All right. Damn. All right. So I'm going to have to move this framed photo. All right. How's everybody doing? How is everyone doing today? Good day, good day, good day, everybody. Oh my days. Hopefully this frame, I hope it's not going to be glitchy on my YouTube because I'm broadcasting on multiple platforms now. So I'm actually on YouTube, Instagram, and what else am I on? I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X. Yes, I'm on 4 different platforms at the same time. So this is the first time that I've done this. So you're going to have to bear with me as I try and navigate between multiple screens. You guys are going to have to bear with me as I move between multiple screens. But what we're going to be talking, first of all, I want to get a sound check. How is my sound on every platform? If you can give me a 1 for good sound, or just say good or bad. Is the sound good or bad on every platform that we are on right now? How is the sound on the platform you are listening on? Please let me know. Let me know what the sound quality is like on the platform that you are watching this broadcast on. Let me know what the sound quality is like. All right. Nice. Okay. Okay. So we're good to go, guys. Welcome. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. I know that I've been scarce lately. I've had a lot. I've been traveling. You know, I've not actually been in town or in my usual digs. So I've been all over the place and, you know, taking care of business. I've been in, you know, South Africa. For those who are aware, I've been in South Africa for a while now, taking care of business. I've started posting a few things on various channels. So please, if you are new to the platform, make sure that you're subscribed, you're following. Hit the whatever following tab or subscription tab you need to hit to make sure that you're aware when new episodes or new live shows and new broadcasts, images, whatever, reels, shorts, whatever they may be, are posted. Just make sure that you're doing that. Also, I'd like to tell you about my newsletter. This is a very important newsletter. The newsletter is going from strength to strength. If you're interested in keeping abreast of Africa, abreast of what's going on, know about some pieces of African history as well, all things to do with Al-Kabelan, about the continent, make sure that you are signed up to the Al-Kabelan newsletter. You can click the link in my bio or in my profile and be signed up to the Al-Kabelan newsletter. Make sure you are on there. We also have a Patreon for those who want to support the videos that I make. So if you're really interested in the videos and you want to be a contributor, get your name in the credits and so forth, head over to the Patreon. Also, the link is in my profile. There is also an app you can download. I'm always chatting to people on the Patreon. We have our own little community, specific videos that I make just for the Patreon community as well. So make sure that you check that out. All my links are at themerc.io. If you are on a website or you are on your desktop rather, you can go to themerc.io for all of my links. So guys, look, as I always say, when everybody comes in, I like to see some introductions of who you are, where you hail from, what you're representing. Somebody is saying in Instagram, will we ever see a unified Africa? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, because today we're going to be talking about education, about history in Africa, history being taught in schools. We're going to be talking about all of that today. So let me know where you guys are coming in from. I want to know where your heritage is, how you found the platform, where you're tuning in from. Let me know that information in the various chat rooms. Like I said, I'm broadcasting on multiple places, so I'm moving between screens. YouTube family. Hello, the real Leslie. It's been a while. The real Leslie, it has been a while. How are you doing? How are you doing? One-He, how are you doing on TikTok, One-He? What is going on? on TikTok. Good to see everybody here, live and direct. So as I said, guys, what we're going to be talking about is, it's actually a very good, very interesting topic, because it's a topic that I think, I don't even want to call it a sad topic. I think that it is informative. It's very informative. And what we're going to be talking about is history being taught in schools in Africa, or how we deal with history, and knowing our pasts and the impact that it has. Because last week, not even last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I had a TikTok live where someone told me that history had been removed from schools in Nigeria, and I told him he was lying. I said, there is no way that that is the truth. And he said, no, you can Google it, it's true. And I said, nah, impossible. And I went and I looked up, and it's true. Like in 2009, history was removed from schools in Nigeria by the president, no less. And the reason given was that, this is unbelievable. The guy said that students weren't interested in history. They weren't signing up for the courses enough. And if you did history, it wasn't good for your employment prospects. And on top of that, there weren't enough good history teachers. And I said, wow, that was the president of the country. Now, wouldn't it behoove you to try? Anyway, we'll talk about that during the show. I just wanted to give you a preface of what the show is going to be about. So that is what's happened. And history was taken out of the schools. And then it made me reflect on the rest of the African continent. And I said, you know what? How seriously does any African country take history as a subject? I want to hear your thoughts, guys. Guys, give me some comments in the Instagram feed as well. What do you think? Do you think that it is taken seriously, history as a subject in schools in Africa, whatever African country you're coming from? I see you, Rich Muller, Nigerian, listening from Germany on Instagram. I see Word of Wisdom, Igbo, Nigerian Heritage. I see you. I Rose with Creative Hands, USA on Instagram. Good to see you. Okay. I like these introductions. TikTok always takes a while, but I already know that TikTok is going to dominate the live. TikTok always dominates the lives. Like, they always take a while to get on board, to get into the rooms, but we're going to end up with a few hundred people in there at least, minimum. Remember to like and share the live, guys. Anywhere that you're at, whether you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, you're on TikTok, like, share, comment. Like, share, comment. At least one like, at least one comment, and at least 10 shares. Share it with at least 10 people, minimum. David from Ghana, Mr. Energy on TikTok, how are you doing? Tabi Mwaura on TikTok, how are you doing? General Pro, Africa, living in Ghana, how are you doing? How are you doing? But I want to see who's going to be the top live broadcast today, because at the moment, YouTube is on top. At the moment, YouTube is on top. YouTube is on top with the most people on the live right now, but I know that TikTok is going to come strong. Anyway, Daryl Leslie, you were in Morocco. Wow. How was Morocco? Let's actually have a conversation about that. How was Morocco? That's a place I've never been. Can you tell us what it was like? In fact, you know what, Daryl Leslie, before we even get into it, let me bring Daryl Leslie in here. This is one of my Patreon people. I want to see and hear, I want to hear what Morocco was like. So that is the call-in link. The call-in is, I can do call-ins specifically on YouTube. So I'm not going to be accepting call-ins on TikTok. I'm going to be accepting them only on YouTube for the sake of this multi-stream live, because when you're doing a multi-stream, I have to be able to do it to the live software that is broadcasting to the most platforms. So it is easiest for me to do it on the YouTube one, because then that one is broadcasting to 3 of the 4. Tabi Mara from Kenya, good to see you. Anyway, Morocco, I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. So let's get back to the topic. So listen, guys, and I say this a lot because I think it's important to remember, and I remember this because it's my platform. My platform only exists because people don't know their history in Africa. Hello, I'm in the US. Do you think that education history will improve in areas like Burkina Faso? Um, yeah, we're going to get into that. But I wouldn't have a platform if Black and African people knew their history, specifically Africans. I wouldn't have a platform. The only reason why the platform is here is for that reason. Now, is that a good or a bad thing? Because I would like to get to a point where my platform is no longer necessary. I would like to get to a point where my platform is no longer necessary. Guys, on YouTube, is my volume loud enough? Can you let me know if my volume is loud enough? I can't tell. I'm just hoping that my mic is loud enough on YouTube because I'm using a wireless mic and I have no idea if the volume is on point or not. So please let me know on YouTube and Instagram. Yeah, TikTok is going to be fine because I'm going straight to the feed on TikTok. So it should be fine over there. It's really the Instagram and YouTube guys. I rose with creative hands. Here in Florida, they ban teaching about African history. All other history is taught, but about Blacks, how can this be? Well, that's what America is. That's what America is. Thank you, Rich Muller. Says that my platform is underrated 100%. Listen, we're building the platform, guys. We're building the platform. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. TikTok has killed me. They've destroyed my platform on TikTok. So I have a new TikTok account, the Merc 2. The Merc channel on TikTok is a complete dead DOA zone. It's finished. But I have the Merc 2. They can't stop the hustle. Okay, we got that real Leslie here. That real Leslie, do you have your cam? You've never been on cam. Or are you nervous?
At all. It's just,
Let me bring you in. Hold on.
and I
All
wasn't
right, Johan.
expecting you to ask me on.
Yeah, but you're one of the VIP members, So I've got to bring you on board when you're available, you know. And
Yeah.
seeing as you had a trip to Morocco, I thought before I get into this in earnest, it would be good for you to just tell us about your trip real quick, just 5 minutes, just 5, 10 minutes, just hear about your trip. What took you to
Mm.
Morocco and what you saw there? Is it your first time? Had you been to Morocco before?
No, it's not my first time. I've been there like 5 times, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
5 times. Yeah, yeah.
And
And
for
it's
vacation
uh,
or business?
both,
All
both.
right. Okay. Cool.
Um,
Cool.
yeah. So this time I went there with my partner,
Okay.
um, for a little getaway trip because the rest of the year is looking very busy, and I have to save up because I'm actually going to Nigeria in December.
Damn. Are you sure you want to do that?
So yes,
Oh, wait a minute. Why are you
yes,
going to
I've been there
Nigeria? That's
before.
why
I
are you going
missed
to
my small
Nigeria?
chops. I need to go back.
Why are you going to Nigeria? Like for real?
Um, uh, of course, a wedding.
Oh, a wedding. Are you getting married?
Yeah,
I'm just.
well, a lot of people think I'm actually Nigerian, and they think that, but no, it's my best friend's wedding.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay.
going for
Okay.
my best
Cool.
friend's wedding, and she is Igbo, so I'm going to her wedding. And the first time I went to Nigeria, it was also for a wedding. That's a long
Okay.
story, but I ended up going to 9 different weddings, including my other friend's wedding. So, yeah,
But the
it
weddings
was
in
a
Nigeria
head of a
are
trip.
very epic, though. They're very epic because you have
Yes,
the traditional
yeah,
wedding, which I mean the church wedding, which is nothing, but the traditional
yeah,
wedding is like
yeah.
a whole other. That's a whole other bit situation right
it
there.
it was amazing to watch the culture because I went to Yoruba weddings and I went to Igbo weddings in the in was it I forgot the
Enugu or
state in
Anambra,
Anambra,
Anambra
Aweri.
State, Owerri.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So
Okay.
I went to that area, but I also went to Lagos. I moved around a lot, so I had a good time there. But back to Morocco though. Yeah, the first time I went there, I was working there because I'm a professional dancer and model. So I went
Okay.
there with a company, and we had to
Okay.
do shows across different event places. So I actually went to Morocco and went to Casablanca, Rabat, Agadir, I think it's called, Marrakesh, of course, and some other places that I can't remember the names. So I got very familiar with their culture and learned some interesting things that I didn't know.
Okay.
And it helped me grow as a person because when I first went, it was like 9, 10 years ago. And now and then it has changed a lot. I was saying to my partners, this really changed. They used to not do this and la la la. So it's very business minded now, especially
Okay.
Marrakesh is very much to appeal to foreigners who come in. It's very much business minded. Like they don't think in dirhams, they think in UK pounds or dollars. Everything they do. So
Is
that
that a
was a
good or
big
bad thing in your
change.
view? Is
As
that
a
a good
fellow
or bad thing?
African, I think it's bad because
We have a we have
they
a
they
we
would
have a Algerian here actually. I think Wuni is a Algerian who's on my TikTok, and she doesn't really know much
okay.
about. But she hasn't been back there much, if at all. I don't know. I can't remember if she's been there or she's not been there at all. But we were talking about it some time ago. But I think that
Hmm.
it's interesting to hear what you're saying about that because I still feel like North Africa it's its own thing. Like it's so different from the rest of Africa that it's interesting
Yes,
to
very
hear this because I've always thought of Morocco as being this vacation destination for Europeans, you know, which
yeah,
is like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's very much catered to that. Very much catered to that. Um, I feel like the city itself, the culture
Hmm.
in its city, has become a culture to to attract uh foreigners to visit. It's not. It feels like it's all about business rather than they're using this as a way to build their country or help economically or something. But
Oh, right, right, right,
do
right,
you,
right,
do you
right,
feel what I mean? Like it's not just the
right.
city. Yes, it's a great destination, but this is our city, as a culture. You take it or you leave it. But
You know what
it's
though? Like
literally they're
so,
doing everything to cater to them. Sorry.
yeah, no, but so Wuni is actually saying, making a point that, by the way, TikTok, are you hearing her clearly? I don't know if you're hearing her clearly. Let me know if the caller's audio is decent for you guys on TikTok. On Instagram, I assume you would be hearing because it's coming through the feed. So she's saying that she's sad that North Africa is turning into a tourist destination. Do you know what the funny thing is? Think about North Africa for a second. Egypt, Morocco,
Mm-hmm.
Algeria, Libya. What am I missing? Um,
Sudan.
where?
Um, Sudan.
Sudan is no. That's not North Africa. That's not North Africa.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know what else I missed. Either way, the point I'm making is that Libya is out of the equation because
Mm,
nobody's going there on vacation. Tunisia, that's what I was
mm,
missing. Tunisia. But when you really think about
okay.
it, take out Algeria. Nobody really goes to Algeria on vacation. Really, it's not like a tourist location. Tunisia, Morocco, and Egypt. Tourism is like the main export.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, what else do you think of Tunisia for? Like, what people go to Tunisia for on vacation. People go to Morocco on vacation. People go to Egypt on vacation. And that is what I find so crazy about when you learn about history, for example, and everything is that for a hemisphere like that, and you think of the crazy amount of resources in West, East, South, Southern parts of Africa, we don't rely on tourism for any part of the GDP of any of these countries in In fact, West Africa doesn't even really have a tourism industry, to be honest. And
Mhm.
would Morocco survive if it didn't have a tourist industry? That's the
I
question I
don't
would
think
ask.
so.
Everybody, I want everybody to give me your answers in all the chats. Do you think North Africa would survive without tourism? Everybody, give me your thoughts, because I don't think so. In fact, I don't think so. They won't survive without tourism. You know, I think that they absolutely have to have people wanting to go to their countries, which is the reason why I find the politics of things so ridiculous as as the world gets smaller with technology. We have TikTok now, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and everything. It's now getting harder and harder to just compartmentalize your narrative and just say, like, Egypt is this country with no black folks, and this is what it is, and people come here and have fun and whatever, see the pyramids,
Mm.
and this is what the history is, and it's not. You can't even really effectively do that anymore. You can't. Like, people know too much. People know too much
Yeah.
about Morocco. People know too much about all of these countries. So I don't know. I
Did
mean, I've never been to Morocco, so you're telling me news.
Did you hear about the earthquake
The earthquake where?
in Morocco?
No, I didn't hear about that. There was an
Yes.
earthquake? When was that?
Yes. That's why I was so surprised. The my driver, because we got a driver for the time that we were there, he
When was
was
there
like
an earthquake? When was that?
in November, just gone.
Oh, no, of course I did. Of course I did.
Okay,
Of course
okay.
I did. I knew about that. I thought it was a recent thing. I thought
Oh,
something
like
happened
another
just
one.
now. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. No, I knew about that. Yeah. A lot of people died in that. Yeah, no. I know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he was telling us about that and how one of the main mosques, that's over 1,000 years old, didn't collapse. Like they were really worried about it falling, and it didn't collapse, and it survived it, and it's such an old building, you know. And he was basically saying like how everyone is so lucky, and we're very lucky because there's a sort of a U shape around Morocco, or Marrakesh, should I say. So when the
Hmm.
earthquake hit, that the mountains that are in the U shape around the city sort of took most of the shock. And when he was explaining all of this, I was like, I never heard about it over here.
Mm.
And I would have thought that would have deterred some people from going or visiting
Right.
because they're a bit scared, and things like that. But then again, I never heard about it, and when we booked, still didn't hear anything about it, any worries or anything like that. And it literally didn't stop business. Business still kept going as normal. So
Right. Right. Yeah, no, it's crazy. That's crazy. Hello, Olive Lanray on TikTok, and EBI on TikTok, Leslia Grace, Smicha, Mr. Energy. Oops, I didn't mean to send that invite, so you can ignore that on TikTok. I didn't mean to send that. That was a mistake. Miss Goddess K, welcome. Good morning. How are you on YouTube? How are you doing? Yeah, no, look, that is crazy. Yeah, no, I knew about that. And I think, okay, so let me give you an example, right? So I actually think that when it comes to all this African history stuff and African awareness and everything, and we're talking about education today, nobody really takes it that seriously, in terms of providing the community with the information that they need. So I actually found out that when I started my newsletter, I'm one of the only people who's doing that. You know what I mean? Like on a weekly basis, just giving guys, hey, here's a newsletter digest. Here's information on what's happening in Africa. Here's some stuff about history. Here's some stuff about this. The only way you can find things is by going to, obviously, to Twitter, to these things that would start your following specific threads, as opposed to just getting something that you can access really easily. And I thought that, this is why guys are so ignorant about everything. Because like that earthquake, for example, the only reason I knew about that earthquake is because I'm following all these different streams, and that pinged on my Twitter. from somebody. I don't know who it was. Somebody pinged it on my Twitter. And that's the only reason why I knew about it. But as you said, it didn't really make. Listen, I could swear that there was a headline about that in the press. Did it not make like mainstream news? Or am I hallucinating? Did it make mainstream news? The real Leslie, are you there? Uh-oh. Might have
Oh,
lost her.
sorry, I'm
Oh,
muted.
oh.
What did you say? Sorry.
I said, didn't it make mainstream news?
No, definitely not. Definitely
Damn.
not.
How many people
Didn't
died
have
in it?
no clue. I'm not. I can't remember. I can't remember what he said. Um, just people towards the closer to the mountains. I think the people that lived closer to the mountains had the most casualties. But he was saying that the king who's very respected over there now,
Right.
done this scheme where anyone that's their house was damaged or whatever, um, that they got salary to fix it, and anyone's houses that were completely damaged, they were reimbursed and given somewhere to stay until they are able to buy a new house. And I was thinking, oh, that's amazing that the king and the government can provide that
Right.
for. And I was just thinking, there's unstable things going on in my country, and I wish our
Oh my
president
goodness. Hey, your
could
country's
do
on another, that's
something.
another level.
I know, but
It's on a whole other level.
it just hurts me. It hurts me to see. And a lot of the people, I was looking at the people who were on my flight. I was speaking about it because I'm very interested in that type of thing. Why a country attracts a certain type of people. And I noticed, obviously, there's all the French-speaking countries, Switzerland, France, Belgium. A lot of those people travel to Morocco. But generally, it attracts more Europeans, I think, than Americans or the US side. And it attracts a lot of people who are interested in just going somewhere that's hot, that's not in Europe. Like they're not so much going because of the culture, you could say, or being interested in Africa. They still see it as another destination. It's more so
Right.
because it's somewhere different to what they're used to. They've been to Spain, they've been to Italy. Oh, I feel like it's just another destination rather than, oh, I'm going to Africa and,
Right.
this is one of the countries. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, it
yeah.
does. It does. It does. It does make sense. I mean, look, at the end of the day, and all we can do is just spread awareness. And I think that was why I wanted to make this title, this topic today is
Mm,
I think that we can't rely on the governments or the educational system to keep you abreast of what is going on in the continent, as well as telling you about your history and what the future of Africa should be. I don't think that you can rely on them because I think it's crazy, like I said, that if a government is going to remove history from schools as an official subject, I mean, you're in big, big trouble. Because I look at TikTok and I always use TikTok as an example. Like TikTok people, think about it. How many of you guys on TikTok have been on my lives in the last couple of weeks? Give me a 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. If you've been on my lives in the last few weeks on TikTok. Um, because I'm actually just finding out now that, let me give you an example, right? Um, People said that the reason why I've struggled on my platforms is because I'm talking about Africa. Do you believe that's true?
yeah, because we have a lot of inside haters.
Oh, that's very interesting. Expand on that. Very interesting.
Oh,
Right. I know where you're going with that, but I want you to. I'll talk more. Keep going. Let's let me
um,
hear more.
I mean, there's there's levels to it, of course, but um, there's people who okay, yeah, there's levels to it. So I will, let's say there's three different departments.
Mm-hmm.
There's Black Africans who are born outside of the continent, like myself, but is very cultured and was raised to be proud of where they come from, despite media, despite what they've been told in school, etc., etc. So you have that upbringing, but because you're not mind strong, you don't have confidence in at all, pride to be African. So you have this sort of weird insecurity. So there's these
Mm.
people.
Okay.
Then there's the complex Africans, I call it, where they are born in Africa, but they travel, go to other
Mm-hmm.
places and whatnot. And they're like, oh, I'm better because I've managed to get out, and I'm not really African anymore. I've lived in Germany for 10 years now, or
Mm.
US or whatever, and they have this sort of thing where they know they're African, they know there's good in Africa and whatnot, but they just have so much hate because they think what they're living now is so much better than
Mm-hmm.
at home. And some of these people come from good villages, good places where it's not too bad, the poverty isn't bad, it's not that unstable, etc., etc., but they still have this, oh, this is better because I have running water, the electricity's on set all the time, this, that, and the third. And they have that sort of complex, and they tend to think they're better than Africans who remain in Africa,
Mm.
if that makes sense. And then there's the other lot of Africans who I just call confused, where they are just confused about life. Like they they are fighting a battle with themselves because they have their parents maybe that are very cultural and or like some my parents, well, my mum in particular is not very, she loves being in Europe. She can't handle the heat anymore. I'm very like taboo because I love heat. I can walk in heat, you know. I
Yeah,
enjoy
no, I
being in
can't. I
Africa.
can't do cold. I can't do cold. Heat is for me. Like cold
Yes,
is kind of just out of there. I can't do it.
exactly. Like I'm very much in touch, even though I've been living in the UK, which is cold as anything. So I really feel like these people that are confused is because they've never had a balanced, like, image of
Perspective,
Africa
image,
in a
right,
positive light.
right.
So but in their heart, they have love for it because they're like, oh, do you know what? I really want some amula, or I really want some pundu, or I really want some, I don't know, Senegalese food. I forgot, cheb, or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
this, there's nothing like a hot African meal, a tagine, as the Moroccans do. That's what I was waiting to have when I got there, because it just tastes different in Africa. The vegetables taste different. It's
I mean,
fresher.
it's more natural. It's fresher.
Yeah, yeah,
They're not putting sugar in everything and preservatives and all that sort of
yeah.
business.
The Fantas, it will be tasting like Fanta.
Tastes different. The
Ju-
Coke tastes different.
Yes, yes.
The
So
water tastes different.
yeah, the water. That's the only one that I'm a bit like skeptical on,
No,
because
you
I'm
can't drink
like,
the water from. No, no, yeah, yeah. It tastes
yeah,
different because there's things in it.
yeah.
So
That's the only thing I'll spend and invest well. Okay, where am I getting my water? You know? But other than water, food wise, it's they love the culture, but then they're told other things that makes them hate. So they're just in a battle with themselves, and they're just confused. So when there's these debates about big topics, they tend to swap sides every 5 seconds.
mm,
There's those group of people. So those are the three main things that I see the differences, but they all have in common the fact that they're not prideful, and they don't have self-love, mainly for themselves being an African. Does it, and it's something that you can't get away from. Everyone's gonna know. Even if you bleach, even if you don't bleach, even if you're light, you can see it in your hair texture. You can see it in your voice, your features, etc. You can see it in the things you even like to eat, the music you like to listen to. You can't get away from it. We are Africans.
Yeah,
Even the
but
one
yeah,
gone.
yeah, no, 100%. I think that what you're saying ties into the topic
Mm.
as that we're talking about, because when you look at the topic about education and Africans knowing about where they come from, I
Mm.
think that, if you don't know your history, then it's very difficult for you to be have any pride in it, for you to have any reverence for it, because you don't know, and all you know is what you're being told by people who are giving you a very negative impression of what your history is, or it's just absence. It's just absent. You just haven't got a
Yeah.
clue.
Yeah.
And I think that is what the biggest issue is, which is why I'm struggling so much to try and impress on people the importance of educating themselves on the history of Africa and like where we came from, because that will give you context. For example, even if you look at the Congo Rwanda crisis, have you seen you saw my Congo video, right? Did you see the one
Yes.
about, yes, about like the history of the conflict?
Hmm.
I didn't know that till I made the video. Like I didn't know, any of that information. And in fact, a lot of people who then watched it then sent me messages saying that, oh, this has really helped me understand why they're fighting. Because once you watch that, and it's not even that detailed. I could have gone into even more detail. But when you watch it, you then understand, oh, that's why there was a Rwanda genocide. Oh, that's why Congo and Rwanda are fighting. Oh, it makes sense. I get it now.
Mm.
Not that I know what the solution needs to be, but now I understand why there are rebels on these either side. I know why that once the British or the colonialists left, there was a civil war. I know why people are fighting over Congo due to the resources. I know why, because before they came, Congo and Rwanda were the same we can't even
Same
call it a country. It was just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same thing. Like it wasn't
Land.
same land. Yeah. So the concept that we now have of thinking of Rwanda as a different country to Congo is not actually accurate to African history.
Hmm.
Because as people said, when I made the video, they were commenting and saying that, hey, the Buntu people or these so-called people, there are people it's not just from Rwanda, they also were in the Congo. And no, they were in Rwanda first. And then somebody said that, no, Rwanda and Congo were the same thing. So yes, they were in both because it was the same land,
Hmm.
you know? And I think without having that sort of context, it's very, very difficult for people to really understand why some of the conflicts are happening now. Let me just get to a couple of questions. African history has been tampered with, a lot of it's erased, but I appreciate so much of those people. This is Olive Lanray. Like you that you searched it out. Yes, I agree with that. It has been messed with a lot. EBI said that people without a history don't have a future. I agree with that completely. I agree with that completely. And I think that's the reason why, nobody is focusing on history, because they know, listen, can you imagine if in every African school you had to learn about African history to graduate, and they
Mm.
gave you an exam? Like you can do whatever other subjects you're doing, right? Maths, whatever, but you have to do African history. Otherwise, you're
Core
not
subject.
graduating.
Yeah. As a core
That,
subject.
as a core subject, exactly. That's what I would do. I would mandate it that you cannot pass out of any educational system without history. And then once we've agreed on that, we then have to look into what history they're learning. That is why the work I'm doing. Hi, Folatella. How are you? Welcome, Folatella. Folatella, click the link, get on the live. I don't think I've heard you on the live yet. Make sure your camera's on point, Folatella. Click the link, get on the live. Because you send me a lot of messages. I don't think we've spoken. So that is what I think the reality is and what we need to do, because otherwise we're doomed. And do you know what's so wild about it? What I'm saying is so common sense that you've got to ask the question, why isn't any African government doing that? Why is no African government saying that you have, like, history is a must? Because They don't want you to know the truth.
Because
Or listen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe give me a reason.
narrative control is so key to how someone thinks is crazy. Narrative
Right.
control and controlling media or news. Because we didn't know, because I didn't know about Libya, what was actually going on, I had assumptions and all sorts of things. Before I went to Nigeria, I've been told I'm going to get kidnapped at the airport, that I like don't trust them, fraudsters, this, that. And this is from Nigerian people, not even
No,
other
of
people,
course. Yeah, no, of course it be. Of
you
course it be
know?
Nigerian.
And I'm thinking, like,
Uh-oh. I'm hearing some what is that?
I don't
Listen,
know.
I'm gonna have to let you go, Marcus. I don't know what's coming, the sounds
I
that are
think
coming
that's
out
a
of your
washing machine.
the hell?
Sounds,
I removed them, don't worry.
I think it sounds
Hell.
like, but I forgot what I was saying.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Um, no, but listen, I think that condition is not suitable right now, unfortunately. Okay. So I think that look, at the end of the day, um, we have to take responsibility for those things. We must. And everybody, guys, everybody who's listening, whether you're on YouTube, I need everybody to do this for me now. Everybody, YouTube. I know I have people on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, and on TikTok. We're streaming to 4 different platforms. I want every single person to leave a comment on the live, like the live, and share the live with at least one person. If you can do it to 10 people, that'd be fantastic. Everybody do that right now so we can get the algorithm working in our favor. Everybody like, comment, and share the live from wherever you're watching this so we can get the algorithm to push this out a little bit more.
Before
Anyway,
I
yes,
forget, before I
go on.
forget the mug, please do an animation version of the book. I have the
The
book.
Crusaders?
I read it to my twins. They don't really understand what's going on.
Wait, how old are they though? How old are they?
They're two. They're two.
Oh, they're only 2 years old. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
But
going to
I
be
still
absorbing
wanted
the
to.
energy.
Yes,
They
yes.
absorb the energy.
I still, and they're still looking at the pictures and trying to understand everything. But
Oh, did I send you? Did I show you? Oh, I haven't shown you guys. You know, I went to a township school
in
with the
South Africa,
Crusaders here. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah, man. And I gave away 50 copies to all the students. I signed them. I did a little talk to them about storytelling, and we did it was great. We did a lot of stuff, man. And like they really there were guys who were saying that they wanted to be in the live action version when the live action version is made, that the guy was like, I should come back and find him because he wants to be one of the characters in the Crusaders live action show. So I was like, listen, man, I will find, I've got his details, so I'm going to actually try and put him in it when it happens. You know, I'll try and put him in it. But it was just such a good experience to do that because I was sitting in Africa. I'm like, man, you know, these guys they don't have stuff like this. They don't really have anything like this. Because the thing is, there's a difference between making something where you're trying to mimic a Western thing versus something that is actually organically tied to the actual history of your community. So that when you then read it, you actually genuinely learn something new about the culture. And when I looked into some of and again, it's the articles that I'm writing on the newsletter are so helpful for me because I'm educating myself and at the same time finding new adventures for the Crusaders. Like I've got a whole list of things that these guys are going to go and get now. I've got a whole list of stuff that these guys are going to get. And now, you see, the thing is, and it was the Patreon, I always give credit to the Patreon for doing this. Like, once you guys told me about doing a Kickstarter for the episodes and also self-publishing or rather self-distributing the books myself, I've now put all of that stuff into motion, you know, and we will end up with our own distribution warehouse and everything to sell the books from and to get everything out to the people. But I think if the Kickstarter raises enough, like if I actually make 25K targets, I will then be able to release all, like the book production will, you see the way there's this massive gap between episode 1 and episode 2? That's not going to happen anymore. Like I'll just be able to do all of them and then just start releasing these things and then start building out other books and other stories as well, you know?
Is
Because the
there
thing is
going
like,
to be a visual though
is there
for
going to
the
be what?
kids? For the kids that can't read or are learning
I
to
know.
read?
Yeah, I know. We've got to do that, right?
Yes, and I think, like I think I mentioned this to you before, that there's actually a market to do like a kids history channel, but an animated version based
Right.
on based on your book. I think it would. I'm telling you, it would really work. You
For the,
obviously have to do
the
some.
baby crusaders.
Yeah, Baby Crusade, exactly. Like I know it would go,
Listen,
especially
man,
now.
that's stuff. I already know what it would be. Like I already have the concepts in my head of what it would be,
Yeah.
of what Baby Crusaders would be. Because the thing is, like, the comic you read. Okay, so I'm going to give you some insight into what's happening in episode 2. So,
Okay.
and guys, everybody listening, we're talking about African education, African history. I made a graphic novel. In fact, let me just put it up here so people know what we are talking about. If you don't, is that let me see. Let me go and find it. Where is the Crusaders? In speaker connected. Oh, I've got somebody here as well. Ayo, could you get your camera on, please, if you don't mind, and get the lighting decent, Ayo? I see you there. I'll bring you in. Just get your camera and lighting on point. Guys, so I have a graphic novel called The Crusaders, and you can go to themerc.io to get a copy of it. And it's a comic book about which incorporates African history. So that's what we're talking about here. And I feel that once I can get momentum going behind everything, I think everything you're saying makes complete sense. I think the biggest problem I have now is two things: bandwidth and funds. I don't have the money or the bandwidth to create as much as I know needs to be created. Like there's so many things that I know need to be created. I just don't have, I haven't got the time or the bandwidth to do it. Ayo, are you all right? Is everything all right on your end? We can hear you, but I'm just waiting for you to get set up. Are you set up? Okay, cool. Once I see you, I'll bring you in. So I'm excited about what you're saying, basically, and I want to do it. And I think the market for the young children is very big for this sort of thing. But if you think about it, and again, this is just a little, like I said, a little sneak peek into the episode 2. Episode 1, the kids are little kids and then they're teenagers, right? Episode 2, Ayo, let me know when you're situated. I see you moving. Episode 2 is when they grow up. Okay? So, are you there? The real Leslie, I can't see. I can't hear you. Are you still there? Are you
Yes,
muted?
I'm still there. I'm just
Okay,
preparing
cool.
lunch.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. So the idea being is like for everybody who doesn't know, Max, who was a little kid in episode 1. Max is actually the main character. So when you go to episode 2, Max is like, he's 19 or 20 years old. And he's now the main guy, like he's the main character trying to prove himself to the family because all the other guys have gotten older now. They're all doing different things. It's going to be really fun. When you see episode 2, you're going to laugh because it's fun to see what everybody's job is. So you know that they're all in England, right? They're in England. So they're like African, like yourself, like all the people who are in England or whatever. So one guy is a school teacher. Another person is doing they're all doing like very different things with their lives. And Max is the only person who's still in the game of finding lost treasure because he never gave up on the thing that I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, that's how episode 2 is going to go because it's going to jump forward some years when Max actually gets a little bit older and he's kind of like in his late teens when he's doing what he's doing. Let me bring this other caller in here. All right, you're on the air. Ayo, how are you?
Doing well, man. How are you doing?
I am okay. Where are you calling in from?
From Houston, Texas.
Okay, the Nigeria
So
part
it's a little
two. Well,
early.
part three. London is part three now. Nigeria part
Yeah.
two. Well, part four. Atlanta's part. But I mean, for Atlanta in there. No, Houston is
No,
three.
no.
Atlanta is four.
Yes, exactly. That's the right order.
Houston.
Yeah.
I think it goes Houston, Atlanta, Brooklyn. I think that's how it goes. Houston, Atlanta, Brooklyn. Because when
Something
I was
like
in
that.
Brooklyn, there was
Yeah.
anyway. Sorry, go on. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on the topics?
Yeah. So I was listening in to you guys talk about history. I have a lot of thoughts. So first of all, I work on the continent. So I run a mining company that's based in Zambia. So
Damn, you're rich. You got a billionaire here.
well, we're trying, but so obviously I go around the continent quite a bit, and
Right,
what I've found is there are certain countries where everyone seems to know some important origin story, like
right,
about their history. So, like, I worked in Mauritania for a while, and Mauritanians have this thing where they're always talking about the old kingdom of Mauritania, which used to include Morocco and so on and so forth. So there are places where people seem to know some important detail and so on and so forth. But in terms of education, I think you've hit a point. History. Sorry, education around our history. You've hit a point that I think is important, which is we could sit here and talk about policy all we want. A lot of the leaders don't listen, right? It's not like they hear what and if they did, they don't even care. So we have to take it into our own hands, which is why I
right,
like what you're doing, and I think we should talk offline and see how to get some funding into that and so on and so forth.
right.
There's also someone, Jason Njoku, who you might have heard
I've
of.
heard of him. Yeah.
Yes, who's working on comic books. In fact, I think they have a bunch of things out already. There might
Mm-hmm.
be opportunities for collaborations there. There's the stuff on Disney Plus or whatever that my wife was trying to get
So I
my.
listen, man. But go on, finish before I comment. Keep going, keep going. You were going very well. You were going very well, but keep going.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you went left a little bit, but but keep going.
No, 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 I get what you mean. I mean, there are certain things that will have, um, maybe sort of because of the corporate entities behind certain things, the history might be a little light. You know what I mean? So, but in terms of just the core history, I think there's an opportunity to to get people to understand their history through entertainment. And
Hmm.
yeah, I would love to be involved with some of these things. So that's the point I was trying to make. Yeah. So
No, it's very, very good points. I like what you said because I don't know how long. How long have you been following my platform? Have you been following the journey on the platform, or are you new to the platform?
I don't know what new is, but I would say about a year. I don't know, 6 months,
Okay, so you've
something. Yeah.
been okay. No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, we've only
Yeah.
been around now for a year and a half. So
Yeah.
if you're
So
a year in,
yeah.
then yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I first saw your stuff on LinkedIn actually. So someone posted some video you did on LinkedIn, and then I looked for you somewhere and started following from that point on.
Okay, great. I'm just trying to put a mic for my TikTok people. Wuni, can you say something just to see if people are picking it up on my other platforms? Just speak.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone.
Guys, can you hear that? That was decent volume? Okay, good. Wow, guys, if you see my rig, I wish I could take a picture of what I've got going on here. Like I've got wires and clips and things holding phones and iPads and looks like Batman over here. But I agree with what you're saying in terms of, which is why I said about the journey, is that we've had stages in the platform where we've tried things that didn't work and we tried to do things that didn't happen. We've also had to get through bans and blocks and getting removed from TikTok and then having to move to another platform and then not getting reach. All of this sort of nonsense that has been going on. And then realizing that if you don't do this stuff yourself, it is going to be very difficult for you to execute this thing, because there is a lot of money out there, but especially Nigeria. Let me just say about Nigeria. I speak about my country. Nobody has more money than we've got. Like, we've got ridiculous amount of money, but that money is not being invested in what it should be getting invested in. Because what we're talking about here is that if you're not investing in education, and when I say education, not just random education, but knowledge of self and history is critical for everything else. So even if you're learning mathematics or science or whatever, engineering, if you're taking okay, let's take two engineering students. One engineering student has a very, very strong awareness of his culture, his heritage, his history, and what his responsibility is to his people. The other engineering students learns about the Queen, Princess Diana, and Harrods. They both get a PhD. What is one guy going to do? As soon as he can get out of the country, he's getting out of that country and he's not coming back. And if he does come back, he's only going to come back to exploit the nation for more money. The other engineer, even if he leaves and he goes to Oxford or he goes to Cambridge or he goes to Harvard or he goes to Yale or whatever, his mind is always going to be tuned into, like, what can I do to benefit my community back in Nigeria? Which is the reason why I say the educational system is so critical, because I'll speak for myself. I didn't know anything till 2 years ago. I knew nothing. I just had a desire to learn. And I knew little pieces that my family had told me when I was growing up. But till I started this platform, the more I read, it is just unbelievable. Like, I read this stuff. When I read about Great Zimbabwe, for example, I was like, I couldn't believe I didn't know about that. I couldn't believe I didn't even know about it. I was like, this is astonishing. I'm a movie fan. One of my favorite movies is Indiana Jones. It's in my top 10. Last Crusade is like my 6th favorite film. And Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is about the Ark of the Covenant. I didn't realize the assumed resting place of the Covenant is in, what is it, Ethiopia? What's it called? The city of Axum or something? Axum.
Axum.
And I was reading about it and I'm like, why wasn't this in the movie? Like, and again, you don't have to put it in the movie because we're not the ones making the movie. But what I'm saying is that kids learning about that from an early age almost changes your perception of what Ethiopia is. Because when I was a little kid, all I was thinking of Ethiopia as was starving children and hunger, because that was the only image I saw. So when I was in school in Nigeria, they used to crack jokes and call people Ethiopians if you looked skinny. I'm not kidding. That's what guys used to do when I was in primary school in Lagos. They call you an Ethiopian, which is crazy because you're Africans and you've absorbed an entirely negative stereotype about another African country because of what you're seeing from Western media and books and so on, which is just mind-boggling when you realize, now that I realize, that Ethiopia is probably one of the most amazing countries in Africa. Now I know that from studying it. So 100%, look, I think my only my only barrier is financing. I have so many things I'm trying to do. And the books, I don't know if you're aware, you're probably not on my Patreon. The books, the True History of Africa books that I've been writing, I've already got 4 done. Nigeria, South Africa, which other one? Ethiopia and Ghana. Even doing those books and creating them. And I was like, yo, man, I mean, people need to just know this stuff. If you're from Africa, just as a basic, go ahead, sorry.
No. I was trying to make a point about the money thing.
Okay.
So, uh, I think money, like you said, there's a lot of money in Nigeria. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money on the continent. And just having people know what you're trying to do is the first battle. The second
Right.
thing is, yeah, because I mean, there are people that would, I mean, 20, I mean, I don't want to, yeah, but there are people that will
You give me
back
20
what you,
million? I'm joking, by the way. Don't take me
I mean, I
seriously.
don't, yeah. Let me give you an example. There's a group here in Houston, mostly Nigerians, that get together and they invest together, right? Uh, you
Right, right,
know,
right.
um, there's another group like that in Atlanta. There's a group in San Francisco, and they when I say invest together, they write fairly large checks into
Right,
things that they believe in, right?
right.
In fact, part of why I wanted to reach out to you because I had sent you a message on Instagram, but these
I
things
would
are.
never see
Uh,
yeah, it's like,
I'm sure. It's short in the dark, but yeah, is because so I'm working in a part of Africa. So my primary project uh, is in a district in Zambia, but it's right across the border from DRC and across the border from Angola. So it's like it's like a little corner of Zambia where it's one of the richest places on earth in terms of resources, but
100%.
people
Yeah,
but people live in huts that if I slept in that hut, my legs will come out because it wouldn't be big enough for me to,
right.
I mean, there's that's how small they are, right? So part of what I've been working on is how to turn these resources into local wealth, right? Because what usually happens is the people come in, they take and they leave, right? And turning it into education as well. So I saw your thing and I was like, shoot, like this man is talking about very important things that nobody seems to know about, and even the most educated of us, because being
We
educated is
don't know.
knowing
We
is
don't
is
know. Yeah,
is knowing Zeus and Apollo instead of Shango and
exactly.
and
No, now,
Og.
exactly. Right.
Right.
Listen, man, my
So
degree is in literature. I have a literature degree. As you see me
yeah,
here, I have a literature and philosophy degree. I'm
with
outing
with
myself. I know
with
everything about Aristotle and Plato
of
and
course.
Kant and Sartre and all these other guys. I know everything about everybody.
Yeah, so I figured, there's an opportunity here, and it's actually it's both a commercial and a social opportunity. So it's not, because part of our issue is where we're typically trying to do like, hey, charity, this and that,
Right,
bro.
right.
Like, there's got to be profit imperative in whatever it is that we're trying to do for it to propel and also for it to be sustainable. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but I think um, you know, the funding issue is one that
Oh, you froze. I'll bring you back in. I'll bring you
has
back.
happened.
All right, you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said go on.
Yeah. No, so I was just saying that, getting these things in front of the right people
Right,
um, is critically important, but doing it on a commercial basis so that it's not, you know, I mean, yeah, there is the begging bowl game, like going to the UNICEF and all these people to say, hey, give us money, let's educate ourselves out of the slavery you put us in.
right.
But there is the stuff that we have to do ourselves,
I
and
don't do
that
that. I don't do that. I don't even allow people to do that on my platform. I warn
yeah,
guys, I
yeah.
say,
So
no, we're not even asking anybody. All I care about is what we can do. It's like, look, I like that you've come on here because everybody can't be good at everything. I'm aware that I have a weakness when it comes to fundraising and finance, and it's not the world I'm in. I don't know that. So I think as long as we understand that everybody can contribute meaningfully to what we're trying to achieve, we will get to where we need to get to. Like, for example, I know that Captain Traore, people just don't know about him. That's why I spread the word so much. A lot of people have learned about him from me in Black America because they just didn't even know who he was.
Mm,
And I understand that the more people know about him, the safer he will be. The
mm,
more he's in obscurity, especially in the Western regions, the more he's in more danger because the narrative can be twisted to make him look like a villain. And then you know what then happens after that.
of
So I
course.
think it's exactly. I think it's just really important now that we all understand what role we can play. So you coming to the table and saying, "Listen, I can advise you on finance. I can advise you on investment." That's very valuable because that is a stumbling block. It is a barrier. There are people who message me and say, "Listen, I have access to just information." Like my golden life who's here sends me links all the time about stories that a lot of the stories that I do pick up on, and just any little thing that can help facilitate doing what we need to do. Because as you said, I don't believe the generation, I don't know how old you are, but I'm a middle-aged guy. And the generation above us don't care about this stuff. Like they don't. Like it's not something that they think about. It's not something they invest in.
It,
It's not
it's
something.
it's in their blind spot, and that's a dangerous thing, right? It's this issue is in their blind spot. My grandfather was, and I don't want to say this like some sort of badge of honor, but pre-independence Nigeria, he was the High Commissioner to England, and
Okay.
uh, uh, there's a lot of stuff that comes in that little statement, including the fact that I have family members. I hope none of them are watching that speak with British accents, even though they were, you know, they were born and raised in Nigeria, and
Right.
but that's the world they were in, and it was a badge of honor for them to speak in a certain way, and so there's that self-hate that basically if you internalize the fact that you're inferior, the next thing that you start doing is you try to be like the guys that you think are better than you, because yeah, I mean, human beings are aspirational, so you try to be whatever. So the generation before us, it was good for them to be a
Mm,
certain way, and they learn to be that way, and part of being that way is turning your back on what the others have labeled barbarism and, like, a lack of whatever, right? So they turn their backs completely, and we're now saying, okay, look, there's something here. This is how we reclaim our spot, in the universe. And yeah, I mean, that's why I love what you're doing. But yeah,
let,
look,
let me
yeah,
let me then before getting you off, then before you go, then let me say this. I think it's really about action and
yes.
having a plan, and taking action on that plan. So we know what the problem is. We know that it's an issue of a complete lack of reverence and awareness of self, our history, where we came from, and thus where we are going. You know what I'm doing. Like, look, I've got the graphic novel. We will talk offline, obviously, but just for everybody who's listening, what is happening this year, 2024, on my platform is episodes 2 to 6 of The Crusaders will be completed and released, bearing in mind that we're actually able to get the financing that we need. So hopefully we will be able to get that, but that is what is going to happen. The second factor is that I will start releasing um, uh, the True History of Africa books and distributing them ourselves. And the first 4 books are going to be Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa. Those are the first 4. And then the next 4 will be Congo is going to be one of them, Uganda, Kenya, and I can't remember the fourth one. It will be the ones coming after that. Now, what needs to happen is raising funding for each of those things. And once I'm able to do that, I'll be able to give everybody a timeline of when they will be available. Because my goal is to do what I just see. I'm in South Africa now. I want to give people the stuff for free that cannot afford it. Okay? That is my hope. so that everybody who buys, I'm able to then be able to purchase copies of what I make to do what I just did in the school that I came to here, where I can just give it away. Because I think obviously what's most important is that everybody has access to the material, and at the same time we're able to make a good profit to validate the business model so we can actually keep going and doing what we're doing. So that's just for the information of everybody listening. That is the plan for 2024 on a base level. There are a bunch of other things I'm going to be doing as well. But are there any questions, any thoughts, any questions? Are there any questions? Okay, I've got your
Uh,
details.
yeah, no, I just sent you my stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general we just need to have a broader conversation. But yeah, well done, man. Congrats
Thank you.
on how it's gone so far, and let's see what we can do to boost it a bit more in our own little way. So yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I'll
yeah,
let you go now. But yeah, no,
yeah.
thank you for
Thanks.
supporting the platform. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Now. The real Leslie, are you back? My golden life, are you available? I should bring you up as well.
Hello, I'm just cooking. I'm here.
Oh, okay, you're still cooking. Okay, you know what? So I don't keep getting confused. I'm going to take you out and then let me know if you want to come back in. All right,
Okay, no
just so I.
problem.
All right, all right, all right. What is this? How do I get my screen to be? Okay, there we go. Okay, my golden life. Here's the link. That is the link. And on TikTok, if anybody wants to come in on TikTok, let me know. I can bring you in on TikTok. The book is $9, I believe. The book is $9 from the link in my bio. Hi, Martins Ape. How are you?
Hello, brother Merck. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Where are you calling in from? You're on. So
Germany.
everybody is on TikTok. Where are you calling in from?
Germany.
Germany. Okay. All right. How are you doing? What are your thoughts?
Actually, I just got into the stream, not quite some seconds ago.
Oh, you see, now this is what I'm saying. So let me, I don't want to say, I'll take you down then. I thank you for joining,
Okay.
but I usually want people, if you want to come on the live, don't ask to come on the live if you don't know what we're talking about. If you just come in the room and you have no idea what we're talking about, don't ask to come on stage, because we're not just doing, a fashion show here or anything like that. Like, I mean, come on, guys. At least just sort of get a decent idea of what the conversation is. We're having a serious conversation before I bring you in. No disrespect, no disrespect. Wuni, are you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
How is everything going with you today?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's been a long weekend, hectic, but I am surviving. Like I said, it's the first time I've tried this multi-stream situation, streaming from multiple platforms, but it seems it's working. Everybody on YouTube and Instagram, can you hear the audio of Wuni clearly? Just keep speaking. Let's see if they can hear you clearly.
Yeah, guys, can you hear me?
Feel free to talk. Like, just say what your thoughts are about the topic, and they'll let me know if they can hear you. What are your thoughts on what we're talking about?
I mean, I've just been listening and enjoying the conversation. I think it is really nice to get an insight from different perspectives. We were talking about North Africa, and then we switched to some financial talk, and we were talking about everyone sort of having their strengths and weaknesses and playing a role in this African mission to educate ourselves and get the word out to people who are unaware. And I've just really been enjoying watching and paying attention to the comments and everything. I think it's great.
Great. No, thanks. I appreciate that. And I think, yeah, I think what I try to do as much as possible is just to make sure that, whatever part of Africa you're from, and even if you're not African, even if you're from another part of the world, at least you feel that as long as you're on the same page of trying to help the situation, everybody is welcome to be here. And specifically, if you're an African, if you're from an African country, that this is not one of those scenarios, because obviously I see a lot of that energy. So, for example, you'll go into a live and it's like, maybe an Egyptian live or Moroccan live or something, and you feel as if, okay, well, this is very much specifically, you have to be Muslim and from the north of Africa to really be addressed within that space. And if you're not, then you're other than. And I don't really think that that's beneficial for the kind of energy that we're trying to create. And that happens as well with other African countries on some shows. Like you'll go in the room, it could be a South African room, it could be a Cameroon room, it could be whatever. And you feel like, oh, you know what? If I'm not from this community, I'm not really that welcome. And I don't want that to be the case at all here. So I definitely like to welcome comments and questions from all different areas. Hi, My Golden Life on YouTube. That was on TikTok, by the way, guys. Wuni is on TikTok. My Golden Life, how are you? Good afternoon or good morning.
Good morning. It's morning here. It's 9:21 a.m.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm just really excited. I'm following you on Instagram and the other platforms, and I mean, what you're doing is just like amazing and exciting. And I saw those kids.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. I have so much footage.
Oh my goodness! Wow! It makes me want to get out there and I wish I was there with you handing out those books because those kids looked really excited.
Oh no,
And
listen. When you see the clips, in fact, I wish I could play. I'm gonna see if I have a clip here that I can play. I'm gonna see if I can play this clip. Hold on. Let me see. I've got a clip. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I think I might be able to find it. Let me see if I can find the clip. Library. Okay, so I've got one here. Is this 47? Damn. I might not be able. It might take me a while to locate it, but I would have shown you a clip of me talking to. Let's see. Oh, okay, maybe I've got it. Hold on. 40, 53. Yes, I think I have a clip here. All right, I'm going to try and play this. Give me a second. Share. Let me see if I can export this real quick. I'm going to export this real quick so I'll make it really compressed so that I can show you this. Put it on the desktop. All right. Let me see if I can import a video right now. All right, share video. Okay, I've got it. Share video, desktop, open. All right. Tell me if you can see films that I enjoyed. Can you see that?
I see a black screen.
Oh, does anybody else see? Does everybody see a black screen? Is the screen black? Guys, I've put the clip on the screen. Like everybody should be able to see it. Oh, damn. Can you see it now? It's on the screen. You should be able to see it. Can you see it? Or is it still just black?
It's still black.
All right, I'm going to play certain films that I enjoyed watching. And could you hear anything? Oh, wow. All right, so I'm going to try a different way. I'll try a different way. I'm going to try a different way. Stop share. I will try a different way. Black screen. Okay, I got it, guys. I'll try a different way. Let me just share the videos window. So share. I'm going to try and share the video window. Window. And tell me if you can see this. Can you see this? Can you see that or no?
It's in the lobby. I can see it in the lobby. I'm not sure everybody else can see it though.
Ah,
I can see a
All right,
picture
guys.
of the a classroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is
There it
that
is.
working?
Yep, yep, yep. There it is.
All right. I
All
don't know
right.
if, if there's going to be any sound, so I'll try and see if there's sound. Can you hear this? Certain films that I
Yep,
enjoy. Oh, you can.
yep, yep.
All right, guys. So yeah, guys, this was like in the school that I enjoy watching, and I started out watching action films, science fiction movies, Star Wars, all of those sort of films. But I never imagined that one day I would actually have the opportunity to actually make movies and to tell stories. And now that I do that, in the process of doing that, I've actually figured out how important storytelling is for people. And that's why I thought it was very important for me to come and talk to you guys today, to talk about storytelling and how important a lot of you guys in here could be in the future for South Africa, for your people, for your history, and for your heritage, and so on. Because that's there you go, there you go. That's a little clip. That's a little clip.
Wow.
But I don't want to give away too much because like a lot happened. But that was the very beginning. That was how it started. That was like right at the beginning when I was talking to them about it, just to preempt where we were going. But it
Okay.
was a really fun time. It
So
was a
how
really
did
good
you get connected to this particular school?
How did I get? Let me think. Oh man, that's a whole other story. Yeah, I mean, it's through contacts, through a lot of somebody who knew someone who knew someone, and
Okay.
I mentioned what I wanted to do, and then they said, "Oh, you know what? Um, I I will connect you with this school that's in a township that you should go to because they would be perfect for it." So we just talked to the teachers. The teachers then said yes. We wanted to be involved, and that was it. That was how we got connected.
And
Um,
what was the how did the kids respond? What were their
oh,
responses?
listen, it's amazing. It's an amazing response. Like what I'm saying is that's why I said I don't want to spoil it by showing you when we really got into stuff. But in fact, let me see. I mean, I just don't want to because if I show you anything else, then it will sort of spoil the
So
whole
they got
vibe.
into a back and forth discussion with you about
Yeah, we did everything. We did like we did exercises. I got them to. We just did a whole bunch of stuff, and then by the end, you know what? I'll tell you guys on Patreon. I'll tell you on
okay.
Patreon. I don't want to just put it out here because everybody's going to see this. So I'll tell you on Patreon more about it because we
So
did like
what's
a
the
lot of
issue with
different
everybody
exercises.
seeing it?
Huh?
What's the issue with everybody seeing it?
Because it's supposed to surprise. Because I'm editing it
Oh,
all together. I wanted to edit the
okay.
whole day together and then just read and then put it out. So if I tell you all the little things that happen, it'll ruin the surprise because it was pretty cool. It
Okay.
was pretty cool. Hi, Time to Shift the Mothership. Welcome. Welcome. In fact, let me bring Time to Shift the Mothership. Click the link. You can come and join us. That's the link right there. Miss Goddess K. That's the link. I know Folatella said it was unavailable, but feel free to click the link. Um, yeah, so that was just one of the things because obviously since then I've gone around to other areas and visited other parts of the country, and
Isn't it beautiful?
it is,
Just
it is,
the
and it's also
landscape is so beautiful. The mountains and the water, and I want to try and get back there by the end of the year because I actually want to see if I can get residency in South Africa. Because I
what
don't
part
know.
did you go to though?
So I started off in Cape Town, and I went
Okay,
to the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Point, and I went to the very southernmost tip of Africa, which is called Cape Lagos, where the
okay,
Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean meet. And I did some prayers there and I called on my ancestors. And it was like I had the energy of my ancestors around me for the rest of the trip. And it's really like people could see that, you know, there was an energy around me that was, that was harmonious with them, and they were so warm and friendly towards me, and they were like, this is your home, this
mm,
is your home. This is where you belong. You should come and be with us. I mean, it was so amazing. And then
from Cape Town, I went to Johannesburg, and I visited Soweto, and I visited a cultural village, a Zulu cultural village right outside of Soweto called the Seti Village. And then I went to Venda and Mpumalanga. I mean, I was all over the place. That 2 weeks was like packed um, with energy, and I did not go on safari because I didn't want to. I mean, I didn't want to really do the typical tourist things.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, two of my tourist events were shut down because of weather. And I was absolutely okay with that because I really wanted to connect more with the land and the people. So, which I did, and which I'm so grateful for. And
That,
as a matter of fact, one of the young Zulu brothers that was doing the touring of the traditional village said he could feel the presence of my ancestors around me, and that I was welcome, that that was my home. And then he gave me a roasted caterpillar to eat.
yeah. Right. Let me
It's-
guess. It tasted like chicken.
no, it didn't taste like chicken. It tasted more like sand and gravel.
Uh,
It's an
did you?
acquired taste.
Somebody is asking in the TikTok that did you have you been to Ghana?
I haven't been to Ghana, and that's another place that I want to go is Ghana and Kenya. And I just want to go all over. I don't know why it is that Black people. Well, I do know why it is, but we're always glorifying Paris and Greece and Rome as tourist destinations or places to visit. But I never really wanted to go there. I wanted to go to the motherland.
Well, I think that
And
that's part of the work that we're doing is that they don't know anything about it. So if you
yes,
don't educate people
exactly.
and give them these magical fantasy, when you read about it and you then fancy like, wow, I didn't know this place had this history or this place had this or this.
Hmm.
The more you know, the more you want to go there, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And when I was sending pictures back home, people were like, "Wow, this is really nice. This is really beautiful." It's like they have another concept or idea of Africa in their heads, and what you're doing and what so many others are doing in order to change that narrative. There's another young man who has a platform. His name is Wodemaya, and he
Okay.
travels all over the African continent to show people just how beautiful and how desirable the motherland is. And I've seen a lot of stuff that he's done as well. And I mean, we really do have to, change the narrative for ourselves and our people. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited for you.
Oh no, thanks. I mean, look, I'm excited for everybody, on the platform because I feel like once these things actually kick into gear, I think the problem I'm having now is that I have just too much to do and I don't have enough, just like I said, bandwidth and funding. It's like once I
Yeah,
can
you
get
need
that
a
sorted
team.
out, yeah, once I get it, you see, if I get money, then I can get a team, then everything will just be happening. It will just be
Hmm.
just happening. At this point now, I'm the only one primarily doing everything, and it's just impossible to handle there's just a sheer workload of getting everything done. Even coming down here, I had to bring all the books with me, plan everything,
Hmm.
organize, coordinate, and I'm doing all of that. But it's a lot of work. And then to also at the same time provide content for the platforms for
Hmm.
the people who are the subscribers and the followers. It's really, really hard, which is why I'm grateful for what you've done and what everybody is doing, everybody who's paying and subscribing and following. I mean, that makes such a massive difference. It makes a huge difference because what it means is that, at least a certain amount of the costs is offset every
Yeah,
month
yeah.
just from people supporting and being able to get the content. And it's like, in a way, those kids, when you see the video I make and everything, you guys contributed to getting them the books by supporting the platform, you know? Like if you didn't
Well, there's a lot
become
more that I can do
no,
because I have the time. And
mm,
I used to write years ago. I think I'm a little rusty, but I guess it's like getting on a bike. I mean, I know how to write technically, but I used to write articles, and so I mean, if you need help with that portion, I can pitch in. I've been on this journey for a while, though. I'm
mm. You
you
know
know
what, you might be able to. Yeah, I mean, let me. I think once I can get some stuff off my plate so I can breathe. So, like I have a backlog of tons of videos, for example, that I haven't released and that I have to complete the editing on. And then there's the graphic novel. Like I need, for example, I need to get the graphic novel underway to just get some breathing room. I just need to be able to just get it going,
hmm
episode 2 at least. And in order to do that, I need to get through the Kickstarter. Hopefully, the Kickstarter is successful, and then just get that underway. On top of that, and again, this is like an offline conversation that I can have on Patreon or somewhere else, is that I do have other ventures I'm doing
hmm
that I haven't even announced to the community at all, that the community have no idea about, I haven't talked about, that will be also very beneficial to everything that's going on. But like Ayo, who was on here, said before, like I hadn't really I guess I haven't really gone out of my way to find independent funding for this initiative of education and African history yet. That's something I think I need to do. I think I need to go to actually start looking at people and saying that, hey, where can I get real serious investors? Because
Sounds like
imagine,
he can put you onto something.
yeah, because imagine if I got like $5 million or something and somebody just was like, hey, take this as an endowment. Do you know that that would literally, and I'm just throwing a number out, by the way. I'm not saying I need 5 million, but I'm just saying whatever it is, it just transforms what you're capable of achieving. Because everything that we've done so far is just through grit, hard work, and desire and will, because we've
hmm
enjoyed it. Like I could have quit a year ago if I didn't like doing what I'm doing.
hmm
If I didn't feel fulfilled with this, I would have quit 1,000 years ago, because it's so difficult to do. It's so frustrating and tedious just to get things done. That yeah, but I really feel, as opposed to what I do for a day job, this actually means something.
Yes, and I mean, it's so fulfilling, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
whether you get paid to do it or not, it's like you could do it for free if you could,
if I
because
could do it for free. Yeah.
yeah, because it's so fulfilling,
Wait,
and
you know
that's
what? Hang on a second. My golden life. I am doing it for free.
you are,
I'm basically doing it for
you
free.
are doing
Like,
it for free.
yeah.
You are doing it for free.
Yeah.
Let me take that back.
So yeah. I mean, it's so yes, it's definitely the fact I'm doing it, and I've been doing it now for like a year and a half, because I started in December 2022, and we're now going to April. So it's a year and a half almost that I've been doing it. And you know what? I was going to say, oh, it doesn't feel like, it feels like a year and a half. It doesn't feel like it's just flown by. So much has happened on the
hmm
platform that I'm like, yeah, no, it feels like it has been a year and a half.
hmm
There's, and I've learned. So, for example, now today, I did another test, and I don't know why I'm even doing this anymore. On my normal TikTok account, I put up a video, and I think I've now, as of 3 or 4 hours later, got like 600 views.
Wow.
530,000 or 520,000 followers. I've got 600 views. 600 views.
Man.
And that just tells you that no matter what these people say, they literally do decide to just ban your channel. And why I think it is such an indictment of TikTok, and now I feel weird about TikTok, because there's so many positive things about the platform that I'm just thinking to myself, if you guys would just leave Africans alone, can we just talk about what we want to talk about? Like, why
No,
do you
you,
keep mentioning it?
no, we can't because they have to control everything because they're really just afraid of losing their standing in the world. And here in the U.S. they're trying to ban TikTok.
Oh no, I know. Yes, I saw that
Yeah.
they voted to ban it. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why TikTok has been so aggressive against my kind of channel because they're trying to make America comfortable or the UK comfortable. I don't know because I mean, if they banned it in the, you know what? If they ban TikTok in America, it doesn't affect my TikTok platform. Most of my TikTok followers are not in America.
Okay.
My American platform is YouTube. Like
Yeah.
YouTube is the one where most of the people who are on YouTube, who follow me on YouTube, are US based. Like I think
Yeah. Because
50%
I'm
of
not
my,
on TikTok.
right, right, right. Instagram as well is sort of UK, Europe, America, it's sort of a mix.
I am on
Um,
Instagram.
yeah.
Hmm.
But TikTok, nah, like TikTok, I wouldn't even really be affected. Most of the people who follow me on TikTok are not in the US, not at all. You know, I just think it's just sad that they're behaving this way because if they supported my platform on TikTok the way they support other guys' stuff, wow, I could do so much on there, just because of the engagement level. I could
What they're
do a lot.
doing here in the U.S. with the education system, it's very frightening because the kids that are going through school now, they can barely read and write. They have really dumbed down the youth here in America, and it's very scary. And I was watching a couple of videos. It was supposed to be comedic stuff where people were going around asking basic questions like who is the Queen of England? Who's the Queen of
Right,
England?
right.
And you know, or and it stumped them. They didn't know who the Queen of England was, or what's 3 times 3 times 3,
Right.
and they were like 6, 14, 12. Um, it was
Isn't it
just very
2027?
pathetic. It was, huh? Yeah, three times
27?
3 times 3 is 27. A
Okay.
3 to the third power. Um, yeah,
I'm just my
just
brain. I'm just
basic
checking my
things
brain.
like, name an African country. Uh, Jamaica, uh, Trinidad. It was funny, but it was also very sad because they didn't know anything. But yet the girls were into caking on makeup all over their face and wearing
Crazy.
these
It's
clothes,
crazy.
and the guys were into big flashy chains and tennis shoes and whatnot, but they didn't know anything. They didn't even know basic math, and it's just very very sad.
It's crazy. I mean, I think, like I said, it's our responsibility. I think, when you look at that, the problem is then you're blaming them, and I
No,
don't like the
I'm
idea.
not blaming
No,
them
no,
at
no,
all.
not you, not you. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about you, not you
yeah.
specifically. I mean, society looks at that and they blame, oh, look at the failing of the educational system in America. Look at and the truth is that we know it's failed, it's
Hmm.
completely failed. And not only do we know it's failed, we know that they're not trying to educate your children. They don't really want to. Like, that's not the goal.
No, they don't want to, and it's on
Yeah.
purpose. It's definitely on purpose.
So it's definitely up to us to, take on that responsibility. And I think hearing everybody talk and listening to everybody's comments on the work and everything, this is what I wish, right? I wish, and this wish is not going to come through because nobody listens to me. If I could
Don't say
get
that.
100,000 of my 500,000 TikTok followers to sign up to my newsletter so I can close down that account, I'd be happy. That account depresses me now. My new TikTok is what I'm streaming from. My original one, it depresses me to see it because I'm looking at 500,000 people that I cannot connect with. Because the algorithm has said, we will not let you connect with any of these people. They've taken my live privileges, banned me from live permanently. What did I do? Nothing. In the meantime, you've got literal white supremacists on TikTok spouting the most ridiculous hatred you've ever seen in your life. And they're completely cool with that. You got young girls twerking on TikTok. They're completely
Yeah.
fine with that. You got women like doing all of it. Like, they're completely fine with that. That's completely fine. They'll promote you, 20 million followers. They're fine with that. I'm
Yeah.
talking real things to actually give people some sense, and perspective. And no, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Martin Zape, these guys use the algorithm to emotionally blackmail you, bro. You have to know that the feds control TikTok. Yeah, well, they probably are the feds, at this point. They have hidden intentions. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't disagree with any of what you guys are saying. I saw you, Tracy, come on. Did something happen? Sorry, having some issues at the moment. Okay, no problem. So what do you think is next? I mean, I think, for me, um, I think it's what the guy, when Ayo came on here, I think, look, if I can go and get some investment,
Yes.
I think I'll be okay.
Yes.
I think if I can get a proper investment, like, somebody says, look, we like what you're doing. We want to sponsor you. You put out, we'll do a deal and we'll put the money in. You just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing it. Because then I'll go get an office, get a staff, and we will just be churning out material. Because this is the thing. We know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Now the issue is just doing it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know what we have to do. Like, it's even what I was telling you about Black Americans not, and I don't know who, was it you? Did you say, or was it the real Leslie? About people not knowing about, who said this? Was it Ayo who said it? About people not knowing about Africa, basically. And that's the reason why they are more interested in going to Paris and
Yeah.
was it the
I
one you,
was saying that. I was
was it you?
saying,
Yeah, right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, oh, by the way, guys, if you are here, I have new emojis on YouTube as well. Because I have membership on TikTok and you have access to all the new emojis, and I have membership on YouTube and you have access to the new emojis. So if you're on YouTube, you can go to the emojis and there are special emojis for this platform, the Merck platform, now accessible to all the members, all the YouTube members. So you can test them out. Let me know what you think. I know Wuni already has the emojis on TikTok. Yep, you got them. Those are for all the subscribers and members. All right. Yeah, no, look, I think it's something that has to be done. And I think, a part of it, though, is also, it's hard to go a different way from the mainstream. When you look at the mainstream and it just looks so easy and so good when you're accepted by the mainstream. It's hard, because you're grinding away, working and trying to do your thing. And you look over there and the people who are in that environment are chilling. Folatella is the first official person to use a emoji. Folatella is the first person I can't see it on my screen, but I can tell he used it. How is it looking?
I can see it in the live stream.
Oh, you
Um,
can? Okay, I'm trying to
it
see
doesn't
it
look
here.
like an emoji in the live stream though.
What does it look like?
It looks like remember how before emojis came around you used to use the
Oh, I know,
moon
I know.
and
Let me see. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm going to try and see what I'm looking. Let me try and see I'm going to see what he's seeing. All right, give me a second. I'm trying to pull up my screen, the live show, to see.
But you know what, Merck, you were saying that it's easier to go along with the mainstream. I think
Yes.
once your consciousness has shifted,
Woo, I see him. I see him. Sorry, go on. I see the emojis when I go to the actual page. Go on, sorry, please go ahead.
no, I was saying once your consciousness has shifted to something different and you see, what the mainstream is doing, um, then it's not so easy to go along with the mainstream because it feels like you're perpetuating lies. Um,
Oh,
and
right, right, right,
yeah, once things have shifted for you mentally and psychologically, it's like I can't watch this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And so
I think
then
it's
you feel out of place and you don't even feel like you fit,
right.
amongst society and your peers.
I think it's getting to the point where that happens. I think it takes time to get to a point where you've affected the community enough
Hmm.
that they know the difference between counterfeit and real material or real
Hmm.
information. I think it takes a bit, and I think it takes autonomy. I think, which is why what Ivan was saying in the Patreon that day, some like a month ago, 2 months ago, whenever it was,
Hmm.
that look at me, I have this platform, and he made me second guess myself because he was like, "Why are you selling through Amazon?" And I
Yeah,
said, "I never even really. I mean, I did think about that, but I never considered like that's true. I don't need to do that."
yeah. You don't really need, and that's the thing, these big entities that control so much of commerce, they make you feel like that's the only way to
That's
go.
the only way.
But yeah, I mean, I think he just planted a seed in you and you were conscious enough to water it. And now here you are at the beginning phases of, creating something new.
It's the beginning phases, and I think like we said about the history elements, and for example, I mean, look, I was going to talk about this. I'm going to make a video about this, but I'll preface it here and I'll make the video about it and post it. But the Palestine war and people asking me for help, with that. And I just thought about it and I said, wait, hang on. Osagiefo, he said, TikTok will be happy to hear me say what? Say what? What are you referring to? Um, but you look at what's happening in Sudan and everything, and I'm just saying that, look, there are so many things happening that if we don't talk about them, nobody's going to talk about them.
Yeah.
Nobody,
You can
nobody.
always speak out against injustice, but, there's injustice equally going on our side in Africa, and nobody's talking about it. So I think we should prioritize that. Palestine
Right.
is sucking up all of the air, and it's not like they don't deserve it, but Congo deserves it, Sudan deserves it. The conflict with Rwanda and Congo deserves it. All of these terrorist organizations destabilizing different countries in Africa deserves it. You know, it's just Palestine is not for our benefit. It's not for
Yeah,
our benefit.
yeah.
E- like I said, you should speak out against it. We should all speak out against injustice. It's not right, but using our energy and our bandwidth and our emotions to, fight Palestine's battle, I don't think it's up to us. I just don't. And it may sound cruel, or selfish, but I think we need to start being more selfish.
They're saying that I shouldn't talk about Palestine or Israel if I want to keep my TikTok account. Yeah, I mean, that's probably very accurate. Also, he's saying that because I said I want to go through independent marketing channels or instead of using Amazon. Well, Osagefo, Call TikTok and tell them to stop messing with me then. If they're going to be happy that I'm going to be trying to use TikTok shop and TikTok marketing for my goods, tell TikTok to stop messing with me. Do you know how I struggle on that platform? Listen, TikTok do not want to have any parts of me anymore. They don't. Even when I create new accounts or whatever, it's like they've tagged me, or rather my phone. So I probably have to use a completely different phone now
Yeah.
in order to get around it. Because back in the day, in my prime on that platform, I would get 10,000 views in. Oh, we've got a new member on Patreon, Pat Headley. Pat Headley,
Awesome.
can you tell me where you are listening in from? Can you tell me where you are listening in from? Are you on YouTube? Are you on TikTok? Are you on Instagram? So we can give you a little shout out. We've got a new Patreon member. If you are hearing this, make sure that you download the Patreon app and you join the group chat on Patreon and let me know that you are there. Okay? Introduce yourself to everybody. My Golden Life is on there. Miss Goddess K is on there. The Real Leslie is on there. Who are all in the show. Time to Shift the Mothership is on there. They're all in the show. Official Shalom KC. Are you already signed up? Official Shalom KC. Are you already a member on Patreon? Are you already on Patreon? When you're on Patreon and you've pledged and you're a member, then you download the app and then you can join. Yes, so click the link in my bio or go to themerc.io and then there's a Patreon button and then you can sign up to Patreon. Make sure that you are on one of the tiers. If you just become a free member, then you're not going to have access to the groups and all the videos and all the stuff that's on there. So that just makes sure that you do that if you want to be on Patreon. Like I said, Patreon have completely different videos and stuff going on over there, so it's different. But that is where I talk more about the behind the scenes plans and all the other stuff that we're doing. So make sure that you alert me when you join on there and you download. Okay, official Shalom, then join now. We're on. And if you have any problems, I'm still going to be here. Sign up now and I'll walk you through it. All right. So this is the thing, right? It's the first time I've ever been to South Africa. Again, this was another video. Like I'm going to record some videos just talking about my experience so far here as well. So I'm going to do that right after because we're going to end this live in about 15 minutes. Well, it's only 4 o'clock. I might go on a little bit longer than that. But I'll talk about my thoughts on everything because this has been a unique experience so far. Some things are what I expected. Some things are not what I expected. And I haven't even been to Cape Town yet. You know, I'm going to go soon. And yeah, I mean, it's been really, really enlightening.
Yeah.
Very different from Nigeria. Have you been to Nigeria?
I have been to Nigeria, but I was there in the 90s. I was there like 94, 95. So I haven't been back since.
That's hardcore. Wait a minute. So, oh, wait a minute. Why were you in Nigeria? I think you told me why you were in Nigeria
I
before.
told you why I was in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, Nigeria is, that's a whole other ball game, man. That's a whole other ball game. But it's
Yeah,
changed.
I was talking to somebody about Nigeria recently, and they were saying that it's on the verge of a coup, and yeah, and the people are starting to fight each other. Tribes are starting to fight each other. There's a lot of division there, so it's starting to look kind of unstable, which
Yes.
is
No,
it's a shame because Nigeria. I mean, Nigerians are. First of all, Nigerians are all over the world. They're all in the diaspora. I think that at least 80% of diasporans, who we call ADOS, descendants of the slave trade, I think they've got Nigerian ancestry. I know I do.
right.
And, Nigerian culture, Nigerian spirituality has survived the slave
Right.
trade. And Nigeria could be a hub of African culture. It could be the hub of
Oh
African
yeah, yeah.
culture,
No,
African
Nigeria. Listen,
economics.
The Yoruba tribe is in Nigeria, for God's sake. The most
Yes,
influential tribe on earth.
on
Literally the
earth.
most influential
Literally,
tribe.
literally, because they're
Cuba,
all over the
Haiti,
earth.
Brazil, Port, like the levels of influence that Yoruba has on the, or the Oyo Empire has on on the world, black people around the
Hmm.
world, is ridiculous. So, and the Benin Kingdom is in Nigeria as well. The
Hmm.
Igbo Kingdom is in Nigeria as well. So
Nigeria.
there's
Hmm.
so much. There's so much. But look, it's leadership, and I think it begins with us. What the work that we're doing, which is why I'm excited, we're going to make such a big difference. It's going to make such a big difference because
Yes.
once all this material is just out there to be accessed, you see, the problem is that the just stuff is just isn't out there, and everything that is coming out is very tightly controlled by the mainstream. So they're like, "We'll tell your stories for you. Yes, we'll give you the platform to tell it." No, we don't want. No, 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 no. You've got to be in a position where you're in control of everything so that you can be
That's
really
right.
authentic about what you're saying. You can be really, really authentic. And I think
Hmm.
that is what we need to do, is to get to a point where, you see, when the Crusaders episodes 1 to 6 are out, whew, when the whole series is out, man, oh man. Because like I said, that's what 2024 is. The true history of Africa, there will be 8 books out by the end of 2024
Hmm.
and 6 episodes of the Crusaders. Guys, have I gone too far with my aspirations?
That's very ambitious, but I think you can do it. If you get a team, if
If
you
I get
get
a
your
team,
team together, you can do that and more.
if I get a
If
team,
you get that team together, you can do that and more.
yeah, if I get a team. So the so-called education system is nothing more than brainwashing. 100% agree. Time to shift the mothership. 100% agree. 100% agree. It's indoctrination. The
Yeah.
fractal that you're attracting is more important in the long run than numbers, quality over quantity. Yes, I mean, I agree with that. Look, I do believe that having a small audience that is high quality is better than a big audience that's low quality. That's not really engaged. I really do believe that's true. And I think the community here is very good. And I think there's a lot of high quality people within it. Um, but I feel like, obviously, because of the nature of what we're doing, it is important to have the masses aware, because obviously it is about getting the message out to as many people as you can, you know?
Yeah. And
But
so if you have a strong core group, your message will get out to the masses.
that's true. That's true. I mean, which is why I tell folks, I say, for example, every single person who's listening today should at least be signed up to the free newsletter, at least. Um, Let me see what this person is saying here. I saw a very important comment on TikTok. Hold on, let me scroll back. What's your Oh, sorry, Wuni, can you post in the TikTok and pin it, information for my Patreon, so people know where to go to the Patreon? Because people are asking in TikTok how to get to the Patreon. Make sure you just give them the information of how to get to the Patreon, and that they need to be on one of the paid tiers in order to access the app or the group in the app. But you can sign up on the Patreon through the link. Okay, yeah, this is the comment I was looking for. If you want the other account to vanish, do a video on Palestine and dump it on there. It's that. Say, okay, I did do that, by the way. I didn't really talk about it too much, but I did do that. And that video got 600 views in 5 hours, whatever hours. So they're definitely on to me. Look, this is the thing. That is the pro. Oh, I know what the comment was. I can't find the comments. Where is the comment? I think it's on Instagram. No, that's not even the comment. Yes, Rich Muller says you are eventually going to get the TikTok treatment on every single platform because of how important your messages are. So be prepared. Exactly. Let me tell you this. It is a question of time before they do it to me on YouTube and they do it to me on Instagram. It's a question of time. I just
But
have to
hey,
get
that's
there.
okay because hopefully you will have your critical mass or your core group. And so they can't stop that. They
No,
can't
no,
stop
no.
that.
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, that is why I've got to get everybody off the platforms. Like I need to
Hmm.
get as many people into my own ecosystem as possible so that by the time that happens, it doesn't matter as much anymore. Like it's like, hey, you know what, who cares? Because yes, it's gonna happen. I think it's going to happen. It is going to happen,
Yeah,
you
this whole
know.
freedom of speech thing, it's just it's a fallacy.
It's a fallacy. You know what? Do you know what? We'd be remiss if we don't talk about Candace Owens.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Candace Owens, man.
Oh, poor
You see how
Candace.
you see how she's now trying to come back
Yeah,
to
she's
the
trying to
community?
be invited to the cookout, and everybody's like, "You can't come
Yeah,
to the cookout, sister. You out there.
no,
You on your own."
no, you're on your own. You're on your own.
Sorry.
She's like she's now trying to be the forward-thinking black voice for the conservatives amongst the black community who's doing family values. I'm like, shut up,
Yeah.
please.
Nope.
We know exactly who you are. And do you know what? I believe that she knew she was going to get removed, or she was trying to get out a while ago. So she's been laying the foundation for this, which is why she went on Joe Biden's podcast. She went on Breakfast Club. She went on all of these things, and she's been
Hmm.
putting out rhetoric because she knew this is the thing. She's not totally disingenuous. Okay, she's not completely disingenuous in the sense that I believe that she wasn't comfortable with the rhetoric on Palestine and Israel. I believe that she wasn't comfortable with it, right?
Yeah.
And then she realized that, wow, I really can't say how I feel here. I really can't. And then probably a whole bunch of other things flashed in front of her face, thinking that, you know that this game I've played long term isn't going to be beneficial for me long
Yeah.
term because of the way things were looking. Honestly, we would be the biggest bunch of bombs if we allow her back to the cookout.
Yeah. No, she can't come back. Nope.
We will be the biggest bunch of bombs if she comes back to the cookout. Like that cannot be allowed. But you know how black people are.
Well,
You know how they
we
are.
always, I don't know, we always shoot ourselves in the foot because if they let her back in, there's no trust there. There's no trust. She's already tainted, so she can easily be a traitor again if she sees another opportunity.
Oh no, of course. And I think, look, I don't even worry as much about her in the sense that, yes, you're 100% right. But I'm actually more concerned about the message it sends to the rest of the world about the community. It's like, you can't allow that.
Yeah.
The level of disrespect this woman has shown to Black America is crazy. And people keep talking about, well, she's, just telling it as it is. And look, if she's telling it as it is, then she'd be telling it as it is to every other community.
Hmm.
The problem is that she's not on a black network, she's on a white network. And the majority of her fans and the people who listen to her are not black. So therefore, when she's saying these things, who is she saying it to? She's not saying it to us.
Yeah.
That's the reality. It's like, if you want to say it to us, she would have been going on the platforms she's now going on as she's trying to come back to the cookout. She wasn't coming to these platforms before when she didn't need to. Come on. Hi, Double A Vibes. How are you? How are you, Double A Vibes? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Yes, guys. So everybody, we're just posting, linking the Patreon information. I'll put it on the Instagram as well. patreon.com/_ or link in bio as well. I don't know how to pin this. Let me see, maybe I can pin it. Pin a comment. Oh, wow. Amazing. I can do it online. All right. Yes. So she is a joke.
Hmm.
She is a joke. She's a joke. Miss Goddess K. She's a joke. And I just hope that people do not let her back on the cookout. I just hope so. Because listen, and everything that we're talking about, and again, it is about respecting yourselves. In America, for example, and for those people who don't know, like America is a big deal to me because I sort of became, I grew up in America for my adult life. That's the reason why I know so much about the US, because I actually became a man in the United States of America. And I look at it and I say, guys don't know anything. They don't know any. Listen, Black Americans are as ignorant of their history as we are. And I'm not even talking, forget Africa because you didn't know that stuff. So that was already robbed of you. I'm
Yep.
just talking about the stuff you did since you got there.
Yep.
Guys don't know how many things you guys invented. They don't know how many
Mhm.
things you created. They don't know about all the communities you built. They don't know about all these. They don't know any of these dignitaries, all this stuff. Nothing. So of
Yeah.
course you're going to be easily manipulated because people, if you don't think you ever did anything of value and you don't really know how you got to where you are today and all the things you built that got destroyed or compromised or so on, it'll be easy, you know? And that's a whole different area. Like I brought Garrison Hayes, who's a fantastic documentary guy on YouTube. His focus is Black American history.
Yeah.
Are you on his page?
No, I don't know about him, but I can
Yeah, I
check
mean,
him out.
yeah, you could check him out. I mean, he does a lot of good work, and but he's like primarily that. And I say,
But I've been, kind of on this train for a while now. Like I said, I started off in college, going down this road, and have just been steadily finding out more and more, learning more and more. We have so many Black historians. Like Chancellor Williams and
mm,
John Henrik Clark and Ivan Van Sertima and Sheikh Anta Diop and so
mm,
many Black psychologists like Francis Cress Welsing and who've been delving into this for decades now,
right.
uncovering the truth for us. And the material is out there. It's definitely out there, but it's not taught. And there. Well, of course, you know about the book banning that they're doing in America. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
in
course.
many of the states in America, like Texas, they're banning everything that does not glorify whiteness, banning those books from the curriculum. And
But you know what? Why are we going there to learn?
well, we had our own independent schools for a while, like in the
Right.
60s and the 70s. A lot of independent schools popped up, but, it was difficult to sustain. I mean, my older daughter is having so many issues educating her son properly. Um, trying to keep him out of the school to prison pipeline because
Mm.
it's just very difficult finding a schooling situation to meet her needs, and so it's it's a struggle. It can be done. It can be done, but we're always in this state of disunity and disharmony with ourselves. Yeah, and we seem to be the only group in America that has that difficulty because, the East Asians and South Asians, um, they are able to unify and stick together very well. The Jewish communities are able to stick together very well. The Hispanic communities are able to stick together very well. We're the only group that just has a whole lot of issues unifying around our own health, well-being, and education.
Well, you know what? Yes, and it's also because of the multiple cultures. You see, there's no other group that the discrimination and difficulties they face is it's something like the color of your skin. It's crazy, like because there's so many different types of black people who don't really have much else to do with each other except the fact that they have the same skin color. And that's what makes it very difficult to unify because you're literally looking at people who speak different language, different culture, different ideology, different religion, different everything. And the only connecting factor is your skin color. Because if you see all the people you named, they at least share culture, if not a lot more. If it's the Asians, like they share a culture, they
Sheikh
share a
Anta
lot of.
Diop is Senegalese, so he's French. He was from a francophone West African country. Ivan van Sertima was Guyanese, so he's from the Caribbean. Um, yeah, so there are many African descendant scholars who are not of the same culture, but there's a commonality in the fact that we all descended from Africa,
Right.
and
Yes.
our history and our culture was stolen and taken away. We have more in common than we think we do. We really do, because the same issue of colonialism and mistreatment is the same issue around how we've been treated here in the Americas, is the same issue, even that how they're treated in Australia and Papua New
Sorry,
Guinea.
I just got a TikTok thing I had to do there. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, so people of color struggle is not that different around the world, and that could be the glue. Yeah, even if we do speak different languages, even if we do, practice different, forms of spirituality or eat different foods, that could be the glue for us.
Wait a minute. What would be the glue? Did you say?
The commonality of how colonialism,
Oh,
white
right. Yes.
supremacy,
Yes. Yes.
um,
Yes.
how all of that has just impacted our very existence on the planet.
Yes, yes. And also I think one of the biggest things I try to push on my platform is to explain to people that everything we do is detached from the opinions or desires of the West. Like you should stop censoring that as your point of reference and just focus on what is for the health of the community. Because I think the problem is a lot of people still think about helping Africa in relative sense to the rest of the world or to the West and saying that, don't be divisive, don't be. And I'm like, how is it divisive to want to survive? Like, to actually talk about your problems and to try and
Mhm.
deal with your issues. Like, how is that
Yeah.
divisive? But people use that term because they don't want you to even have a conversation about. Because listen, this is the unfortunate reality, and this is how people try to gaslight you. The unfortunate reality is that if you just tell the truth, the villains in the story of Africa in modern history, if not even modern history, the last few hundred years, unfortunately, it's Europeans. They're white. It just is what it is. Now, the flip side of that is people then say, don't talk about it because you're being divisive by talking about it. Because when you talk about it, it creates a realization that the prime enemy of Africa for the last few hundred years, they basically it was white society. Then what do you do? Do you just pretend it never happened?
Yeah, well, the motive behind that. The people who are saying those things, if they're white, of course they don't want the truth to be told. And if they're, people of color, especially black folk, then they don't want to make the white folks uncomfortable, because,
Mm.
then when white people get uncomfortable, they get crazy. They actually get murderous.
Things they're genocidal.
Hmm.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you this, things have changed a lot because, let me give you an example. I don't believe a Western nation can invade an African black country anymore the way that they did before. Politically, it would be suicidal. It would be
No, they
actually
can't.
suicidal.
That's why they try and make us fight each other,
Exactly.
and
That is
and
why it's always
fund
try and get
fund
yourself.
terrorists
Yes,
to create
yes,
confusion. Yeah,
yes.
that would be
Because it
way
will
too
be
much resources, and yeah.
It will be no, no. I'm talking about. Yes, you're right for the resources, but they will be fighting to take the resources. The point I'm making is that the political damage. Do you know what it would be like, for example, if America said that we are now going to invade Ghana? Do you know what that visual would look like on the news? Like, it's not the sort of thing that, think about what would happen in the United States, the levels of protest and civil conflict in America if America was now invading a Black African country. And they were going to do what they did to Iraq, in Ghana. I tell you this, that would actually be World War III.
Mm.
Because what would happen is that it's because what it is that, listen, there is so much bad blood that people are pretending doesn't exist
Hmm.
between the Black and white communities of Africa and the West, that all it's looking for now is a match to strike. If you do that, the Black community in England, France, Germany, America will just rip that country apart internally.
I would
And
hope for that. I would
not
hope for
not
that
just black, yeah,
response.
but not
I
just
would
black
hope
people,
for that response
not
amongst
just
Black
black
people.
people, yeah, but not just black people, and that's why I say they can't do it. I believe there are enough white people in the world today who know what's up, the truth, that they wouldn't be able to accept that happening. I truly believe it.
Yeah.
Like, if that, because of just the amount of knowledge we now have of the history of Africa and the West, that America saying that we are now going to go in to do regime change in, let alone, can you imagine America saying they're going to come and do regime change in Nigeria?
Well, for a long time, I think they've known that they can't put boots on the ground in
They know
Africa.
they can't. They can't.
That's why they do it covertly. They no longer are doing things overtly on the
Yeah,
continent and even in Asia.
right,
They're very covert about what they do. So, and as a matter of fact, they find it easier to just send a whole bunch of money and weapons to willing mercenaries to do their job for them.
right.
So, yeah, that's still not helpful.
Yeah. No, no, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. On Instagram, Kadzu says perhaps you could do a summer class via Zoom to elementary kids about African and AA history. I would sign my 10-year-old up. You see, first of all, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but you see, that's part of the issue is I'm one human being. So even
Yeah.
if I wanted to do that, the energy and time to do that I just don't have the energy or time. Um, but to Daryl Leslie's point earlier during the live, the idea of creating child-friendly versions of what I'm doing,
Yes, I heard her
is-
say that.
I will,
But you know what, Merck? So
yeah,
here's a model that you could follow. So there's another channel that I listen to sometimes called the African Diaspora Network.
I listen to that, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah,
The guy that started that, what's his name? Philip Scott is in Texas, and he hires different commentators. So he has different commentators who he hires, and they do their own segments around, current event, history, um, you know,
right.
Black financial wealth and the likes. So he has like Ethiopians, Kenyans, African Americans. You know, he now has a staff.
Mm,
So and they all come on the channel. They have access to. They even have an app now. They even have developed an app called the African Diaspora Network app that you can go and download and get their news.
mm,
So that might be an idea for a model that you could use is to hire staff to, do those recordings and then post it on the
right.
channel.
It's money though. I don't have the funds. I don't have the funds yet to hire anybody, unfortunately.
Um,
Um,
well, this is it's something that you could aspire to, and your channel is growing, and people are receptive to your message. So, right now, you may not have the funds, but you don't know what this is going to look like in the future. So, rather than
Yeah.
focusing on, I don't have the funds, just focus on the growth of your channel. We are here. We're here. And,
Right.
I think the ones of us who are hardcore, we ain't going nowhere. And we look forward to, continuing on with your channel and maybe even participating in the work. And so, yeah, you just
Right.
don't know what the future could hold. This has a lot of potential, and people are very receptive to your message.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. And I think Time to Shift the Mothership is saying some points to connect into what you're saying. She's saying that how about putting together a resource list on Patreon? Yeah, um,
Yeah,
uh,
see,
a
she
list that
she
we
has
can.
so many good ideas. There's so many other people on the channel that have good ideas, and everybody's willing to share and to help you create. So I think I think this could be a success. I'm really excited. I'm excited
No,
for you.
no, no, yeah, no, me too. I think, look, I agree with you. And I think maybe what I'll do is the two things, like the next thing I think is that I need to do the Patreon for the Crusaders, right? Once I do that, um, I can then look at resources of what I would need for the books. The books, the main problem is just time, because
Mhm.
if I got some resources in, all that would help me do, like I'll be paying, getting people to assist so I can do things faster and I can get things done in a smoother fashion. Because part of the problem for me is that in order for me to focus on the books, I would need people to be taking care of the editing on the videos, to be taking care of the social media posting. At the moment, I'm doing everything, encoding the videos, editing the videos, posting the videos, doing the captions, the back. So I think that's just the time drain of doing that. It takes away time from just
Yeah,
focusing on, producing one particular piece of material. So I think, like I said, I'm going to offline, obviously on Patreon, I'll put up a list and we'll talk about it. But I think it's really just raising capital now.
yeah,
I think I just have to really get out there and get really serious about raising a lot of money, you know, um, as opposed to just being like, hey, we'll see what happens and we'll keep. I think, yeah, I probably have to get serious and approach it like a more serious venture, business wise, as opposed to just,
yeah. I
yeah.
was just thinking, if you're going to start looking for independent funding, do you have a business plan that you can present?
Right, exact. I don't. Yeah, I need to, these are the sort of things. Yeah, I need to get a business plan together. That's what I'm saying. I need to start thinking that way about this because I think so far I've just been looking at this as the cultural impact side of things and like, oh, what it
Mhm.
means and what I could be doing. I think I have to look at it on a business level and say, look, it needs to be profitable. Otherwise, it won't last. And I won't be able to expand and I won't be able to get the personnel that I need to. So when people come up here and be like, hey, I want my kids to learn, can you do something for them? I'll be like, okay, let me put that on the list. You have the funds. Hey, I want you to release those books in physical copy as well as digital. I can put that into effect without. Right now, we're sort of still in that phase of
Mhm.
picking and choosing the battles. It's like, okay, what are we going to focus on? We'll focus on this one thing or that one thing. And it's not optimal for growth or rapid growth, I should say. Um, but yeah, you know, anything else? And any other thoughts before I shut down the live? Like anything, any other things you want to, any questions or thoughts you want to ask or thoughts you want to put out there yourself?
Um, no, I'm just really glad and really happy for you and looking
Thank
forward
you.
to the growth and expansion in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very, very much. All right. So I'll let you go now. We will
Okay.
reconvene on Patreon, but
All
thank
right.
you. All right. All right, folks. Yes, yes, yes. We are still live. All right, guys. So that was cool. We've this has been quite an epic show. We've been on for over almost 2.5 hours now. But I've got to close it down, get on to other things. Like I said, guys, here are the links again. You can go to the Alkebulan newsletter. The link is in my bio, or you can go to themerc.substack.com. Go to the link in my bio, sign up to the Alkebulan newsletter. You also have the Patreon if you want to support, become a member, join one of the paid tiers. The money goes a long way in supporting the platform and keeping things on the engines running. Patreon.com/_themerc, or you go to themerc.io, or link in my bio. Multiple ways to get there. All right, guys. And that is all.